Man, this has been one of the most wild economic times I've ever seen. I mean, we have all these different data points that are showing we should be going into recessions, and yet we are also experiencing the highest inflation since 1981. So with these horrifying numbers, I'm going to share how you can save $100 a week or more and hopefully put you on the right trajectory so that you can protect yourself during these difficult times. And all that I ask is that you obliterate that like button by making it turn blue. Thank you so much, and with all that said, let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so I know for a lot of people, saving money each week can be a really tricky thing. There are so many different issues that pop up and stop someone from being able to save money. But what if there was a way to force yourself to save more money? Normally people would say that there are two options to help you save money. You can either spend less or make more money. And even though I'm sure a lot of us can look at this and say, okay, that makes sense, it doesn't actually help us practically. The problem many people face is not the fact that people don't make enough money, although it is definitely a possibility, but they are actually not prioritizing saving as much as they think. When people learn about personal finance, they are taught to pay off all their bills, and then whatever money you have left, you can put that into your savings account. But if I'm honest, unless you have incredible discipline, you will never prioritize saving money using this method. And what can end up happening is that you won't recognize how much money you actually spent until the end of the week. And then you see that you don't even have enough money to put into saving. And this is why if you want to save $100 a week, you need to put yourself in a position that forces you to save that $100. So the first tip, as simple as it sounds, is to make and keep a budget weekly. When you're creating a budget, do not focus on non-essential items, but prioritize where you want your money to go, and don't limit yourself on the amount of money you can save in each category. So what I would do when I'm trying to create a budget is track your spending for a month. If you spend your money on a card, then you should be able to retrieve your expenses online. But if you use a lot of cash, then keep track of every penny that you spend for the next month or so. Then after you track your spending, put them into several different categories like subscriptions, insurance, and housing. Now, the single most important piece of the puzzle is to make sure that every single penny is accounted for. If you need to make a miscellaneous category, then do that. But make sure that you can track all the money that you spent over the past month. Once you split them up into several categories, this is where you prioritize saving. Put a realistic amount that you want to save into your budget first thing. This is what we call paying yourself first. If you want to save $100 a week, then you need to make it the most important thing in your entire budget. So before you start calculating how much money you spend in other categories, put down $100 a week into a savings category. Then you can start determining what your other priorities are. So after you make your budget, the next thing to do in order to prioritize saving is force yourself to save $100 by doing an automatic transfer from where you get paid to a savings account. This is almost just as important as making a budget, because if you don't force yourself to save this money, then you will be a lot more tempted to just not save money altogether. This habit prevents you from spending money throughout the week only to find out that you have nothing left over to save. So do an automatic transfer, and if you feel like your savings account is still too easy to take out money, I would make a brand new account with a brand new bank so that it takes more steps to remove money from that account. Using the automatic transfer has completely changed my life, because it doesn't matter how much money is coming in and out of my accounts, I'm still able to save the same amount regardless. So set it and forget it, and use that money only for extreme emergencies. So once you force yourself to save $100, now it's time to look at the numbers to see how you can get yourself to a place of actually saving while paying off your bills. And one of the biggest areas of spending is on groceries. So I want to give a quick tip when it comes to saving a tremendous amount of money on groceries, and it is simpler than you think. Order your groceries online if you have free pickup. You know there was a time when you went to the grocery store hungry and you ended up spending way more than you were planning. Now it's easy for me to just say don't do that, but why not remove that temptation to begin with by ordering online? It forces you to only get the things that you put on your list. So figure out what your budget is and make your list before you go to the grocery store. Order pickup and then get it without needing to go inside. I'm telling you that this was a game changer for my wife and I. We are able to spend $50 a week or less on groceries, and that makes up 8 to 10 meals. But how are we able to do that? Because we prioritize savings and forced ourselves to pick up our groceries. And trust me when I say that the meals are so good. So if you want me to do a video about how we are able to spend under $250 a month on groceries, let me know in the comments down below. And speaking of buying groceries, there's actually a way to save money when you go to pay, which is to use coupons. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, when you go to pay, use a credit card instead of a debit card or cash. When you use a credit card, you can get cash back on those items. Now, I want to caution you and say, please only do this if you have discipline with your spending. Credit cards can be extremely dangerous if they're not used correctly. And so I don't want anyone falling into credit card debt because they went wild with their spending. But there are two ways of using the credit card well. One is to get cash back and then use the statement credit to pay off your balance. The other way is to use that money for any travel that you're already planning on doing, like seeing family during winter or spring break, or if any emergencies arise. Personally, I use my credit cards for almost all of my purchases because I keep track of my spending, and I know that as long as I stick to my budget, I will be able to pay them off. And it's from this switch that I've made over $1,000 just using credit cards. My all-time favorite credit card, especially groceries, is the Blue Cash Preferred, which gives me 6% back. So if you spend $5,000 in groceries for a year, you would get $300 in cash back. And if you're interested in getting the Blue Cash Preferred, click the link down below and get a $350 statement credit, which is basically free money when you spend $3,000 in the first 6 months. So if you use credit cards for groceries and gas, you could hit that mark. For transparency, there is a $95 annual fee, but if you are getting $300 in cash back each year, you are still making over $200 just from using this card. And I personally make way more money out of this card. The last way that you can save $100 a week is by shopping for your insurance. Now this one will take more work in the front end, but there is definitely a lot of money that could be saved here. Rather than just going the first one you can think of, shop around for your home insurance, flood insurance if you have it, and car insurance. I've saved over 20% on my home insurance and over half of my flood insurance just by shopping around. So I know from experience that there is a lot of opportunity for people to save just by spending a few minutes looking around. My recommendation is every year or so, check for new insurance policies for flood, car, homeowners, or renters insurance. Let's say that with all three of these insurance policies, you were able to save $500 in 1 year, which is definitely possible, especially if you have expensive insurance. That would be close to $10 a week right there. You will never know how much you're able to save with other insurance companies. Also, get quotes on bundles for home and auto insurance. You may be able to save more there as well. But whatever you do, don't settle for the current insurance if you haven't shopped. And those are the 5 tips to help you save $100 a week. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, smash that like button down below. That helps this channel in a massive way. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you are notified when new content comes out. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.